I got to Silksong Act 3.
Oh, hey, I love the feeling you have entering into Silk Song Act 3. I think it's very rare that a game just hits you with the specific emotion of, I don't know what to call it, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's a very big emotion. That's very specific and very few games do.
So I guess to
I typed it to you.
That there's a conflicted feeling
Yes.
that occurs. The thing I want to talk about, I guess, go with Act 3, and I guess what I have to relinquish here is we've talked many times about how games are released no longer in a vacuum, being on the internet and being connected to the community.
The Hive
is part of the release.
The Hive Mind is part of our existence now,
and thus it is expected that like you can never truly get stuck. You can always just go get answers online. You know,
that's right.
So
unless you're really strong, unless your heart is iron.
Well, so it's interesting because like there's things in this where I kind of went, all right, look, I don't have the time. I just want it. What are the secret requirements to figure this thing out? You know, and
they're simpler than I would have thought.
So I beat Act 2 and was greeted with my credits, you know, and was like, oh, this is not straightforward. There is more to this. There are things I have to discover and do and such. And once upon a time, you know, you can, like, I feel like everyone can go, oh, back in the day, this would have been...
just beat it.
You would have, and then someone would have found something else, and then there would have been a whole thing about, wait, what? Right?
Back in the day, you would have gone to school and be like, dude, I beat Silk Song. And then some other kid who had the game a week before you would say, what did you think about the new fight in the Bell Beast arena? And you went, huh?
Sure.
And he goes, yeah, when you get to Act 3. And you went, what?
Sure. Right.
And then you would have the discussion and bring out notes and a whole fucking thing, and you would feel insane. And sometimes that would happen to you decades later.
And
sometimes you would just miss it, and somebody would mention the inverted castle.
Inverted castle discussion. Sure.
And you would be like, what the fuck's the inverted castle? And
right. Sometimes there's that, and then sometimes there's like, there's this type of thing, you know? And it's interesting to live in a world where games are made with the hypothetical past release in mind, but also as a part of a connected online current future, you know? So you're looking at this and going, oh, it's not a straightforward walk into Act 3. You have to go discover how to get to it, how to access it.
And you have to be interacting with nearly everything the game has to offer. And
you would not have even known there was an Act 3 if not for there being the internet to put that out there.
You could have suspected, because there are two, and shit doesn't usually follow a 2-act structure.
Well, also, there's a bunch of stuff you have on your person that doesn't do anything. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it got me thinking about that, and kind of like, you know, that what should you aim for when you're making a game? And the answer is whatever you, the person making it, feels like you want to fucking go for, right? It's fine to pretend that there is no internet. I want to make this as if it were something that you play, you know, on your own in a cabin in the woods offline. And it's fine to make a game that is like, no, you're going to be talking about this with everybody online, and there will be no secrets because people will discover it together. Because there are games that go like, I'm going to make it so that the secrets are hard enough that even the collective internet together, working together, can't solve it, you know, right away. And, you know, so yeah, in my case, I was like looking at it going, oh, okay, huh. And there were definitely a couple parts where I kind of went, okay, so what's the deal here? And I kind of went, what wall did I not slash? What ceiling did I not jump into? You know, do I have to go crawl through every zone to kind of do that again? I'm like, I don't really want to do that. And sure enough, there were like a couple of walls I didn't slash and a couple of ceilings I didn't jump into that
a couple fleas you didn't grab
that were needed for critical progress, you know? And so when I went to go kind of look those up, I was like, yeah, okay, I don't feel bad about just grabbing that information. But what I did see in the process of doing that, and also there are times too where like I'm progressing and I pick up like 3 tools back to back and I'm like, okay, what's the skinny on this? Because you can go experiment with a tool for a while to get the feel of it and whether or not you want to roll with it. But I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be moving forward at a faster pace right now. I've got to pick one of these and kind of go with it. Let's see what the discussion is on how this is used, and you know, give me some of those numbers, you know. And what I kind of discovered was like a number of people that were like, we're basically like, hey, I want to inch forward from where I am in Silksong, but I don't want to know too much. Can people spoiler free point me in the right direction, you know? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know how much this happened with like Elden Ring or so, but like it felt like a very particular thing in this game where they're like, okay, I'm holding this object and I kind of have an idea of what it might be for, but don't give me the full thing. Just kind of point me in the right direction-ish so I can pare down the feeling of, do I have to scrape all the way from Bone Bottom to the fucking Citadel and hit every wall, or can we just cut some time here, you know? And yeah, no, I did that and I was like, okay, this is sufficient for me. The like last couple things you're doing in Act 2, by the way, also like involve like getting some tools that are like I said, like you're like, this is an incredible tool. I don't know how long I'm gonna have this for.
A while, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, it certainly felt like not much longer. It felt like this is a great yeah. You know.
So I can tell you something about Act 3. Act 3 is literally exactly as long as you want it to be. The Act 3 adds like I would say like 60% of Act 3's content is like completely optional to the point where it doesn't even count for the completion.
Okay. So I mean like, it's like Expedition 33 Act 3 almost, right? Like take your victory lap and do your thing. You know? Not quite that word. Not quite victory lap, but take your lap.
Not quite.
Take your lap. Yeah. And it also seems to be up to you, you know, like as an expedition as well and stuff. We're just like, all right, what do you want? What do you want out of this? You know?
There's an entire zone that I just didn't have to do and didn't even count for completion in Act 3. Doesn't even have the fucking thing on the chip.
Well, what I'm curious about, because you know, like the beginning of it seems to be like, hey, you've got to get places the slow way for a second. And then
they immediately give
it's like, nah, never mind. You know, no.
It feels like some version of the game was like, nah, do it the hard way, and then they like actually had people do it, and they're like, this sucks. This is too mean.
Well, and so what it has me wondering is like, I'm like, is it truly just like, if I choose to go right to the dot, can I end things right now, or is it like, yeah, okay. Because I'm like, it feels like
you have some errands to run.
It feels like it would be a bit much to be like, all right, whenever you want, here you are. Which, again, in Expedition's case, you can do, but it makes sense given how things play out. And here it feels a little more like, I hope that you flesh this a little more.
And I tell you what,
critically,
if we're talking about Act 3, and I think I know a way to talk about this without a spoiler. I have not cheered and fist pumped, like actually yelled out loud at a game as hard as I did in a long time when I heard that public domain 45-year-old dog/goat snarl stock sound effect.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's this incredible moment with like a sound effect I've been hearing for decades.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked that. Yeah, but it is just kind of interesting to reflect on this feeling of like truly there is no offline cabin in the woods gaming, you know? Like that is a hypothetical that you don't have to consider. And it's
I
okay.
think
I guess it's okay. I don't I'm attached to the idea of the things that I grew up with.
yeah.
So part of me always likes the idea of a game that is self-contained, offline, and requires no external input. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think
but it's just
one of the
not the
interesting
reality anymore, I suppose. You know.
I think Silk Song did this on purpose, and I think they had a very interesting way of going about it because I think there's kind of like a impetus for that, but the knowledge that like no secret can ever stay hidden for more than like 4 or 5 days,
Right.
unless it's implausibly hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, what they did is they just made every one of those secrets hard as fuck. Do you want to get the rune explosion from First Sinner? Fucking go do it, pussy.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you want it? Yeah, okay, fine. Look up where it is, and then you have to do it.
But also, like, did you hit the wall in the corner of the room in the worst area of the game that you hate being in?
Yes, I did.
You know, okay, well then you found it, you know, and if you didn't, then you know, not to mention like mitigation for the worst areas only comes after you no longer have to deal with the worst areas.
As always,
You know, you've suffered through it. Congrats. Now
thank
you
you,
don't
Adam,
have to.
for my various suit.
Yeah. So it's I'm kind of gonna just, you know, go back and see that there's also a very clear feeling of like, oh, the challenge that is ending act 2 is very cool, but fucking tiddlywinks compared to the real fights that the game has for you.
Well, I have good news for you, sir.
Well, it's obvious. It's quite obvious.
The 4 mandatory fights that await you are motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, that much is clear. Like this is a cinematic battle that you're experiencing for plot purposes, and then there's some real shit. But so far so good, very cool, and I do. It has me definitely going like I've been kind of passively going through it, taking in, you know, the lore as it goes. But now I'm kind of like, shit, I kind of want to go brush back up on Hollow Knight, you know?
Nah, just watch Mossbag videos.
Watch
Mossbag.
Is that a channel that summarizes?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
It's the Vati of Hollow Knight.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
He'll give you way more than you're gonna pull out.
Perfect. Because it seems it's all there for sure. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, fuck. It's been too long. It's too distant to memory. Some of the stuff that I want to remember is not there anymore.
You know, someone in the chat brings up a class in Remnant 2, that kind of Diablo-like shooter. It's kind of Soulsy. It's a class called the Archon. And they described how they don't know how you were supposed to get the engineer naturally, because the engineer class was data mined out of the game. And that data mining revealed an absolutely absurdly obtuse series of steps to unlock engineer that you could never, ever, ever figure out on your own because they had no internal logic. And the answer to how were you supposed to find that naturally? The answer is it was supposed to be data mined out of the game because it's the Archon class.
Oh my god. Okay, intentionally so. Yeah, Gaster shit.
Yes.
Yeah. I made this because data miners exist, so now this too is part of the game.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, man. You know,
Because the Archon can go in between the bounds of reality. So in order to get it, you need to do it.
yeah,
Or look at a YouTube video that shows you.
Doki Doki Literature Club. You know, here we are.
Man, I should go back to Remnant 2. That game is awesome. That game is great. That is a premier Diablo slop shooter. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I think I think that's cool, but it's kind of like, you know, that not every game is going to play with those rules, right? So like if you're playing a board game and the board game is like, by the way, like there's a card hidden inside the box, rip it open and get it. You know, or part of this game is like, actually if you cheat and steal and nobody notices, then that's legal, that's okay. And like,
that's every board game.
Yeah, sure, right. Yeah, every game has those. There's a hidden rule in every game. No, there's something about that where it's like, if from the outset you kind of know where the boundaries are, and if you tell me that like the boundaries are your fucking desktop and the folders on it, then I go, okay, cool, got it. I will take that into consideration going forward. And you know, and then other times it's like not called for, but then you watch as the game gets ported, and then you have to figure out what a console is going to do with a game that wants you to data mine something or go digging through its files. I don't know if you saw like, so Doki Doki Literature Club. I don't know if you've seen anything about. Do you know anything about that? Or
I do. That seems like a game that was ruined by its own popularity.
It's still pretty good. It's still pretty
I'm
cool.
well aware. However, I bet I would have played it and enjoyed it a lot more and been more interested in it had I been the target audience of its face rather than being the target audience of its turn.
Okay, I see what you mean. I think it pretty much lands the same way that like Slay the Princess, you know, kind of does in that like having people tell you about the turn doesn't detract from, you know, the fun of how it's executed.
I will say that I unfortunately heard about Frog Fractions in more or less entirety before I got to it.
Okay.
Which then led to a sequence of events of just like grabbing people and being like, you got to play fucking Frog Fractions.
Right.
Which hit the peak where I was like, Paige, you guys stream Frog Fractions. She's like, but I hate math. I'm like, don't worry about it.
Although wasn't Giant Bomb basically the ones that...
Yes, it was
Giant Bomb pushed Frog Fractions
and I listened
to become
to
what it was.
their podcast religiously at the time.
Yeah.
So I knew all about it.
I think that's where a lot of people kind of caught on to that. But when they ported Doki Doki Literature Club to Switch, it was like the game had to be within a desktop browser inside the game. And it was like, it's an elegant solution, but it's unfortunate. Like there's no other way you could do this, right? And not break fucking guidelines. But it just does detract nonetheless. It's an elegant solution that detracts from the what the game is, and unfortunately, I can see the same problem with Inscription. I don't know how that is going to look ported per se, but you don't get the freedom to play outside the boundaries on any other on console releases of things, you know?
Yeah.